Melissa Gomes, a femme Gomes, amplamente conhecido por Santurbo, o Papa está Prime-Ministro. E Mr. Ray John, that's right. E sua fama Peterson, eta metade corso, lo mi bisa, basicamente, quando eu vou explicar, bo mama.
Sì, mi mamma di corso, anto metà di smart.
Sì.
Anto nang topo na Olanda, anto ma bire produkto.
Tava back, pero bota bi bano se mato, basically bota bi bano se mato.
Metà di na corso, te ku ora makaba mi VWO in 2009, ma bij het Dovers College. Anto di nama bij Holanda bij studie na Groningen, anto ora makaba studielei, maar bij St. Maarten. Anto je nama kai ding de ambtenarenleven, wat hebben geprobeerd, et cetera. Anto después si 3-4 años bieden bij lie, anto no se kai de politiek.
Okay. And Melissa, of course, comes from straight out of a political family. Yeah? I mean, you couldn't miss.
Yeah, well, I tried.
You did? How many are you in the family?
Myself and my sister.
Okay, two. Yeah. And you're the eldest?
The eldest, yeah.
Okay. And then when Papa was Prime Minister, you was doing what?
I was in the Netherlands. I was in Holland, living in Den Haag.
You were studying?
No, I was working for a TMF Group, a trust company. And I moved back home 2016. And yeah, 2019, we established the party, and here we are.
Yeah, all right. And what were you doing in Holland? Aside from working, did you study there too?
No, I studied in Miami, actually. After I got my master's, I went back to St. Martin, stayed for 3 years, and then I moved to Holland 2009. I was working for TMF, but I also co-founded with my friend Cyril a studentenstichting, basically to help the St. Martin students when they come up to get accustomed to the Netherlands, to also network with each other.
Unbeknownst to the whole Dutch system, just like the ones from here.
Yeah, so
we can tell you all about it.
Yeah, so we worked on helping them not just to get accustomed, but to also meet each other, to teach them how to network, introduce them to different companies. We had some nice visits to Google, Microsoft, LinkedIn, and just to provide them that space, where they could meet with each other. Yeah.
And you stayed how long in Holland?
About 6 years.
Oh, that's not exactly small tenure. And now you're back for how long now?
Since 2016.
And you haven't regretted your decision to come back to paradise?
Sometimes, there's certain things I miss, but for the most part, I don't regret it. Yeah.
And how about Curacao? Have you been here often?
Yeah. But my dad was born here. So
he's a pretty nice fellow,
Yeah, he has his moments. But childhood vacations most of the time we're here in Curacao or in Aruba, where my mom is from.
All right.
Yeah.
You're a true Antillean. Maybe we should tackle that situation, I find more and more people telling me now, after 12 years of this split up, have we gone ahead? Now there is a new thing coming around, and that is that at this juncture, did I say that right? Juncture, right? The thing is that the poorest island of the 6 islands is Curacao. The one with the biggest economy, biggest blah, 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 biggest territory, everything. But it is the poorest in the sense that poverty has risen here in ways that it's impossible. This major situation that you have to tackle. How would you assess the state of poverty in St. Martin?
It's the same, actually. I think, for us, we've also seen an increase, especially since COVID, of persons not able to make ends meet. We also had the 12.5% personnel package cuts that, everyone had to kind of adhere to for the support from the Netherlands. But I think even before that, we also were still recovering from Hurricane Irma.
Oh, you have very particular
so it was
problem.
Hurricane Irma was the jab, and then the right hook was COVID, basically. I think that is kind of lost for the other islands when we talk about how we have had 2 major disasters, basically, almost back to back. Yeah, but I personally see the increase. People come to us, asking for help to buy groceries, and stuff like that. So it is clearly, you can see the trend is there.
Anto bota warna se Martin também diagram coisa que nós estamos a in parlamento que se Martin por exemplo on average gemiddelde nós tem huur die mais alto wat betreft casa residencial para huur 1-2 bedroom in Nana bota pas $1,000 fácil pero também nós tem minimum loan die massa bouw den koninkrijk nos minimum loan na walkie abai sugu net 5 florin no $4 something I think our minimum wage.
That's what we're going to do, yeah.
Anto ele subi bij SA. Dus nos minimum wage ook nota niet 9 florin. Eigenlijk anto costa assim na to bota wak diferença nang entre isa nang anto nos por exemplo den começamento de nos ora nossa kuna electanos nossa purba de corta nos salários. Então corta coisa bota den aya 2020 nossa purba de corte ele mesmo com nossa 30 passou por covid adal anto bra nos collega nang abringa esse pero se boak bom esse fradang nos salários same als parlamentário de Martin então mais alto que sunandi den koninkrijk também dus nos dingen minimum loon die massa bouw e salários dan politico de mais alto anto huur de mais alto dus bo por hij é diferença na wat betreft poverty in die sense dus bij deze.
En in the sense, wat de bureau mata tá.
Sim.
Que bad mira hora que botar a situação.
Bota comandante, era abo com político como tá actua, bota por de meet them halfway and to be see well, nós mês que corta nos salários, já que ando ac com anta reagir of bota sinta que tu ando legal assim, dus.
É corta os salários, is that easy? For example, for parliament.
Teoreticamente, se nós hacemos como parlamentário, não se interparlamento, of course, com meerderheid, bisa sim. Anto in theorie, o ministro de Finanças mesmo pode fazer.
Bom, corta is the easiest thing. So people tem que pagar. Corta that people don't take it, the ones that will be seeing at the lower salary, and they will protest because they, of course, they have all the mortgages and the car loans and the God knows what else.
Which, to our opinion, should not be so.
Yeah.
Our colleagues.
Yeah.
Now, for explanation for the general public in Curaçao, how the situation in government is, PFP is a opposition party, or it's an opposition party?
See,
and the party in power now
is the UP party and the National Alliance, as well as two independent members of parliament.
Yeah. Now, there you touch another thing. The independence drive of the parliamentarians of St. Martin is becoming like a normal state of business.
Sí, mita nosta ding what we like to call a transition period. Periodo que ainda coisa anda cambiando. Anto ding term aqui nós seria para ku hopi hene nang mal contento, não contento com costa bayendo. Anto botaria para ku ding last 3 anos aqui. Nós sabemos de quanto facção nós sabemos ding parlamento, nós começar com
10.
Nós sabemos de 4 ou 5, ou que nós temos 10. Se comita Uno, MP Manuel, Duncan, De Weaver, Edgar Martin. Dus 4 en Arendelle.
Brownbill technically.
Dus theoretisch nós temos 6 parlamentários de 5. Qual decidi na dado momento de laço 3 anos algo aqui com nada vai estar independente. Se como não vai independente oficialmente, pero su partido mesmo neem afstand DJ. Sim, terwijl mientras tanto het den parlement ainda. Dus het oficialmente representando a facção, pero a facção não te representa. Pois costa tiki one of a kind na St. Martin. Então nós temos 5 outros parlamentários mais que também independente, 2 de facção de UP, 2 de facção de National Alliance, então de United Smart People's Party.
Yeah, it's not a government party. The last one is not a government party.
No, pero nandos voor die tempo que 2 die UP members sabe ba independente e 2 nang kuma contabo di USP party nang 30 coalition anto awaki nang 8-7 ba.
Na drop S may the USP.
Asa na ba UP.
UP
against. Nang ba up.
They did? You sure it was up? So you're actually in the opposition.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been in opposition since day one, and that's where we're going to stay.
Your party is pretty new. You're
brand new.
Yeah. How many? 2 years now?
Or not? Three officially, because We formed the party in September 2019. Well, officially August, but we launched it September. And 6 days before our launch, the government fell. So they
Sounds like an earthquake.
yeah. So then the then Prime Minister Leona Marlin invoked Article 59 of the Constitution. So she dissolved Parliament, called early elections. And yeah, our first election was
Let's go.
literally 3 months after we incorporated the party. So it was brand spanking.
I
new.
remember they didn't want us to contest
Yeah.
the elections. No,
And
we-
how
we
many
fought.
how many parties now?
I want to
then?
say seven,
Then it was, I think it was
7 or 8. Yeah,
That went to the election.
that went to the election.
And the population that has the right to vote in St. Martin is how many people?
23,000 registered voters back then.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah,
And then, of course, the election was, and you got to how many seats?
2 seats.
2 seats. And were you approached for possible coalitions and things like that?
Not really. Well,
they, you see, nos campanha estava te tiki mas anti-corrupção, anti-tudo que está passando no momento. Então, eigenlijk tem ainda. Então, foi princípio nós decidimos que, como partido, nós não estamos dentro de uma coalição, so marco em Gutá. Então, é mês etapa câmbio. Então, nós decidimos que se nós não temos grupo que é bom mindset para nós dentro, nós não estamos risco é partido, nós estamos bom partido, nós estamos a opção, nós estamos mostrando que nós podemos ser trabalho, que nós compa trago ele na compa hasil o Cristo quase então depois de sei vou para como governar.
Pero Papasaco had 2 seats as a brand new party, almost months or maybe just a couple of weeks or
Sim,
whatever.
estava da basta.
It was about Irma.
and with only 8
We made
candidates.
we made history. Então nós temos uma lista de 8 candidatos só, comparado com outra que tem 23. Yes, algo.
It was not a matter of you just sneaking in there. You were right there.
Yes. We were in their face.
Yeah.
And how you've been now in Parliament for how long?
This is going to be year 3, 4 officially.
Going
yeah.
into 4.
Was
Yeah.
it 3 years?
Because our next election is supposed to be January 2024.
Dus aqui
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
That's, what do we have here? The waters are kind of troublesome here right now for me. Right off the
Yeah, right,
top of
next
my
year,
head,
yeah,
remember?
next year. So just a well,
Yes.
10
No,
months.
it's not,
No,
it's
no.
not next year. No, it's
Back,
not
come
next
back.
year.
Yeah.
It was
De
in
menos com a
March.
nós temos a eleição oficial.
Sim, right,
Sim,
sim.
como
Yeah.
isla.
So here it will take a bit longer.
Yeah.
Of course, depending on God knows how many circumstances in the middle of everything that we are.
Yeah.
But how much do you actually get to follow things in the other islands, even though we're not the Netherlands Antilles anymore?
You know, that's something that we actually spoke about, and we had, we've been pushing as well for our parliament to engage with the other parliaments, Aruba and Curacao more often than just now, because now we're here for IPCO. And then the next time we're officially supposed to meet and talk to each other is going to be June.
Yeah.
For the second IPCO of the year. But in 2020, myself and MP Bryson said, at my first virtual IPCO then, during COVID, I said, for me, it would make more sense that especially the 3 Caribbean islands talk to each other a bit more often. So I make it a point to try and engage with my colleagues, outside of IPCO, whether here in Curacao or in Aruba, to kind of make sure that I know at least some of what is happening. So we do follow pretty often, and every morning my dad has a newspaper article for us to read as well. So to make sure that we keep up with everything. So I think we make it a point to do so. I can't really speak for our colleagues, but I think in general, especially the seasoned politicians, then like MP Westcott Williams, for example, they will always keep a finger on the pulse of what's happening in Aruba and Curacao, especially. Yeah.
Is she still leading the party?
She is leading the United Democrats. But
But
next
sh-
election, she has revived the Democratic Party.
At the last election.
Well, no, next election she's
That's-
going to be running as the
Yeah.
Democratic Party.
She's bringing it
Is-
back.
is-
Bringing it back.
But
yeah.
is the UD United Democratic
United
Party?
Democrats was a combination between the UP and the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
It was I think
So, and now-
2018?
Yes.
Yeah.
2018.
Are they unified now?
No.
They're
I
not.
mean,
Well, the up party split off again.
the up party kind of split off, and some people from the up party went to the DP
Yeah,
party,
to
so
the-
you can kind of say that.
So yeah.
I think you guys need something like the Anna Bay here, since we are the island of bridges. So we have 1, 2, 3, 2, the huge one, the very, very small one, and a few in between. But you got to cross bridges to get ahead in life.
Yeah.
Sim, no. Nós foi fora nossa direita no parlamento, nossa por poder ser outro. Nós tem algo que nós chamamos political maturity. Então nós estamos a push esse hope. Então basically nós estamos sendo na wak. Nota pessoa nossa oposição of coalition. Lei tabisa nós constituição na São Martin tabisa artigo 44. Você ande 5 te representar full isla. Dus
Right,
bij deze,
everybody.
yes, dus bij deze ora você ante ideia não, não tem colo. Você ande 5 have to look out for the best interest of the country.
Yeah.
So
Period.
we have voted for the budget. I'm not saying vota pa e budget passa, aunque nossa oposição qual e tempo e tabata unheard of.
Yeah.
Anto as of then nos ayega di support coalition ding lei nang kunang mes membro nang tating issue kune anto ku nos que men ko staan sien tame pas in Sint Maarten dus met dan wat betreft Sint Maarten the political maturity has improved. We can work across the board. We have shown that we can. Nos muso ku nos para CSA anto awak ito gewoon wak kung nos tabay tra junto. Sobre awak ya ku nos por comunicar, ese de algo otro. Pero para nós direita é lugar para nós governar está step 2 então e nada se llega.
¿Quién es el líder de San Partido?
Me.
You are the party leader right
Yeah.
now. I thought you were number 2.
No.
It's number one.
Talk to your PR man. He didn't inform me that I'm getting the highest echelon. So okay, but you sound like you're really advocating a difference in the total situation of Simatu. What we hear here, of course, is somebody walked out, another one split, and this and that, and you can't keep track.
Yeah.
And at the time when you had 3 or 4 parties, and now you never know how many parties there are.
Yeah.
Now it's not of utmost importance for us, and certainly not. I guess some people say that people in Curaçao always want to influence things that happen on the other 5 islands. Right now, in many cases, when people on the 5 islands come and influence things here, but there's this back and forth between
Yeah.
people, and now the situation is that there are people that are wondering if this was a good idea, if we had promoted more autonomy, especially with Aruba,
Yeah.
the last 50 years or
Yeah.
100 years, as a matter of fact, we would have been all better off, perhaps. Now, we have the same central bank, we have the same court system. And those two are forces that can be pretty unifying in the sense of, helping everything to get better for the people of all the islands. Even though everybody will maintain its autonomy, which is always a good thing, because you'll keep responsibility for whatever measures you take in your place.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Well, balance. Coisa que nós sempre tá educar peta com é balance tem que how do you manage working with the other countries by communicating, by approaching them? We in St. Martin nós tem a tendência de tá nos mes isla, Nos gusta tá sempre den época tá me walk por exemplo mit mira com nós tá é o único grupo que tá papel no inglês. Tudo tem papel no papamento. O portátil inderdaad pessoas nós tá papel no papamento e não, pero maioria gente de nos parlamento tá como no papamento. Você agora des
A metade assim, de tempo que me estava chamado Hopi, o papiamento used to be the thing,
Sim.
Yeah.
And
that's what people there told me, not that people from here came
Sí.
imposed it, but people just liked it, I guess.
See, and now in Parliament, I like to say that the majority of them understand papamento. Pero ora ba yung mga diskusyon over die Koninkrijk Reino, etc., over die geschillenregeling, over die coho, en dan moet een differentiëren naar die opinie.
But then, of course, English is the world's language.
Theoretisch,
Yeah.
pero no staan we aqui como facção do parlamento, nós estamos eigenlijk como se puxa por nos lei não também, bem em inglês, por sobre mim, por exemplo, mas estudei lá em Holanda, mas estudei em Groningen, pero mas estudei lá em holandês. No sistema na Curaçao e Sint Maarten tá basado no sistema holandês natuurlijk, Pero como me está representando isla de San Martin, me diria para que hope de mene nang, hope de no sendo nang, tabi na punta na to punta para informar nang, pero na no te compreender e holandês riba e nível A, mas te compreender, anto e diferença entre Corsou com San Martin, a minha biri para como o ene copia na Corsou e também na San Martin, ku na Corsou nanta welcome e holandês, mas tanto pero na San Martin nanta hope mas internacional gefocust, dus com inglês, nos idioma materno e nana mes.
Materno,
sim. Anto pananta normal, pananta me que lesson na lei nang den inglês. Moet komen de, anto eri a mi kuta bini voor die Orlando kumi rechtenstudie, como politico mi digo along sta para trás no bisa com logische ta para me purba di puxa e versão holandês riba e pueblo. Mientras tanto, não quer compreender o que está passando por na nosso idioma materno. Então, a transição é também nossa aqui da gente conosco switch by inglês, nossa problema da yano é balança, nosso grond é também da bisa com nosso idioma não oficial tá inglês e holandês. Dus, eu tenho nós temos várias coisas para trás, pero nós temos uma visão se para onde nós chega.
Too much of anything is a wrong thing, and too much pressure and getting it into emotional discussions always results in a mess. I mean, it's incredible. We have 3 islands speaking Papiamento, and we have 3 different ways of orthography. We write it a different way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's utterly ridiculous. Wrong, but why did it go that way? Because when the real linguists were working on it, the politicians get in. I am not including you in that kind of politician, because those were a mess, and we're sitting with that mess, and it's an incredible thing. But then again, if people, make sure that you understand each other, and then start sharing problems and solutions, we can all get much better countries and much better people.
Yeah, that's what we have been, what we've been pushing for. Especially we are grouped in sort of clusters with each other. Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire down here, and St. Martin, Saba, and St. Eustatius up there. And we don't even communicate that often on this level then, as members of parliament, with Saba and St. Eustatius. And we've tried to push for us to get back to that, where because we all kind of share, Saba and Station need us.
Very
in the
much
sense of getting to them,
Yeah.
whether it's by ferry, by plane, or whatever. They don't have airports that can handle flights from other countries. But at the same time, the attraction of them, their nature, their environment, etc., it helps us because they have to come to us first to get to them. When you look at it from a strictly tourism perspective. But it's also about the fact that we all share, a history with each other. And one thing that I noticed during COVID that I did not like, which is why we came up with the whole, let's get back to regional cooperation, first with each other, with Aruba, with Curacao and Bonaire, is that you had Saba taking measures to protect itself in COVID, and members of parliament in St. Martin being upset that they couldn't just go to Saba. And I'm like, guys.
What do you mean?
I'm like, guys, everyone is taking measures to protect their population. Because Saba, 1,600 people, you get, 2 COVID cases there. It could have been a disaster.
Absolutely.
And they held off great.
And they held off really well. But they held off because they took precautions to protect themselves. And we were disrespectful of those precautions in Parliament. And it was the same thing with the French side of St. Martin.
But they have a lot of situations.
And there's a whole other situation. So even that, we've pushed and advocated for us to begin meeting with our counterparts on the French side regularly, because we don't talk to them at all as members of parliament. I do because,
you're actually the one pushing for that.
My family.
There are gumpers on that side too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think.
As a matter of fact, there are quite a few here also. I shouldn't know that.
But yeah, so it's definitely something that I think, we have to get back to. But I think people get caught up on the word autonomy, and they don't realize that at the end of the day, autonomy is making choices for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And even if you choose to compromise, if you choose to share responsibility, that's
fun.
also exercising autonomy.
And for the betterment of the population.
Exactly. So that's, for us, is something we're also trying to educate, mostly the public, because, sometimes people are set in their ways, especially if they've been in this game for a very long time. I can't convince them, but I can tell the public this is actually a different way of for it to go. Yeah.
And look at me and understand that I'm here for the good of all of us. If people understand that you're not here to take an advantage, you know.
En então, esse também é algo como político nos a tomamos tempo anto compreender e acercar ele não compreendendo a cultura que não acostuma com a capa. Maneira sabia nós um partido que tope anticorrupção, a que nós está pensando que tem como de electoral reform, por exemplo, MP Gomes sabia que é proposição para nós quarta e cortina. Sobre where else do they have it in Curacao as well, right?
No, Aruba.
Sim, dus negócio que nós temos nesse marco que nós não temos Curacao, por exemplo, tá que ora nós vai votar para eleição para parlamento. Ora bo 30 é hockey para bo votar, traz de bo, se que nós ando tem cortina, cubo não provoca nada. Então que eu boto mira é lá super de bem com da eleição. Depois de um par de dias, um portrait como circular e social media de portrait de ballot que ainda passear tu ainda guarda votar ou que selfie que ainda então é coisa não é para nós o que é nossa cultura é coisa não é da puxa corrupção. A corrupção tem que sentido que o cumprimento de voto é algo problema inoficialmente grande. Sobre oficialmente we say sobre te in hene na awardo dus pero nós está pensando se tem esse problema corta cortina com bota stop e corrupção dor de saca e situação que me não por se coisa corrupto dus se sacando o telefone passar com portrait para mostrar que verdade me a vota para hene aqui dus bij deze me ganha me sang se tem esse problema stop põe hene na para trás vou por vota Cuba lomba, botimos privacidade, volgens international regulations, não tem nenhum issue privacy, wat betreft te anto quita cortina. Algo mais simples mesmo, anto vamos para stop a cultura de vote buying. Algo assim mesmo, lo vir issue, abrir issue de nosso parlamento, em valshoek tá cai, sim, pero se bota vai quita cortina, portar botinho halena na mais para trás, obviamente, porque tu cortina de como não te vai wak full situação, de como não te vai wak ballot, sim, porta sim, ballot é muito grande para votar riba jeito, se não te wak onde para votar, que mente tem argumento personal,
let's bring in the machines.
Yes, so pero te sei não assim, então algo na cena você com ora nós está manhã de bisa go against the grain, botar já com na da push back. Pero a parte de jeito, mas nós a parte de período de transição, que nós temos passador de jeito, como político também, para nós cambiar cultura, boy nós mesmos, então para depois eigenlijk vir algo que é possível.
Aqui também tipo de coisa que está passando com certa regularidade, pero sempre botar que da estômago botando what kind of gifts you were getting in Simat? You were getting washing machines, refrigerators, and then people say, but remember, they don't pay tax, so they're lower, the prices are lower. They're not as expensive as they are here. They're not as expensive as they are here.
Yeah.
So that's why no party's going to give you a washing machine. It's too much money. Pero at the end of the day, outra coisa também, vota com Walmart. So, you know, you go by the people, they sign the machtiging, you know,
the power of attorney
and you go.
vote.
And that was a mess. So,
Yeah.
And then the last election, one party actually came with the idea, let's give the Walmart again because some people are sick and some people don't feel good that day and some people this. And then you can't buy them. That's the whole thing, you know. And so I feel like getting up every morning and having a special prayer to make absolutely sure no Walmart ever comes back.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, this is a way back. There's a lot of people that didn't even know it existed. I'm talking 30, 35, 40 years ago. But I mean, there was a total blamage.
Yeah, I don't think we should go down that route.
No, absolutely not.
Definitely not.
Well, I think we used to, but then of course they stopped it because there was instances of people who had passed on voting.
No, now, yes.
So they've been working to clean the registry up and make sure that, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the way it ought to be. That's definitely the way it ought to be. Now, if we look at it in this position, you said the election is?
Supposed to be January 2024.
So we have almost a full year to go.
Yeah. Next year.
Our last elections was January 9th, 2020.
Yeah, that was the last
Oficialmente.
election. Yeah.
Os 4 anos depois, 9 de januário 2024, oficialmente.
But in general, as politicians in Sumatra, I guess you wouldn't answer that another way. You're basically in agreement with the autonomy because of the idea that, as they said in Aruba, if you work with the government, you need to buy a pencil, you got to call Curaçao. And then they said, no, don't call, send a telegram or send a letter. Otherwise, no pencil.
Yeah.
So
I
that
think
was totally ridiculous.
I
of
think
course.
We were kind of led, or this particular status was promoted without preparing the people. My mom likes to brag, Aruba, they did this, they prepared and they planned, and they mapped out, at least for the first few years or first decade or so, what land Aruba would look like. But for us, there was not much preparation done. Students were not contacted. The type of positions, the type of jobs we needed were not really looked at. So now we are at a capacity deficit when it comes to project managers, legislative lawyers. But that's a problem in the kingdom entirely. So
local judges.
Yeah, judges, etc. So nothing was really set out as in, hey, this is coming. Let's prepare for it.
Wouldn't it be a grandiose idea if all these countries, and including the Dutch, would get together on specific programs to elevate the knowledge of things?
Yeah.
Right now, there is, as for example, in education. The RK schoolbestuur and the other schoolbesturen here actually brought out a letter that said our educational system is sinking. And if you have no education going on, it's not a matter of having none.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not that bad, of course. But let's elevate this to the kingdom level and make sure that in every corner of the kingdom, everybody gets the same quality of education. Who could be against that?
No, nós estamos eens. Eigenlijk, nós estamos, nós partido, a parte de lo que nós focus hier educação tá grande parte de lo que nós outro candidato também tá push pe. I'm telling them about that what we do a lot in PFP is focus on education as well. And to no solamente education pa mucho nang, pero educación de pueblo en general también. And to sepa nós algo que nós purba de push in parliament as well. Cada vez que nós papi in parliament nós purba de referir back ne artículo que nós papel de de com sobre gran coisa que nós sa de que lei na público, tu lei de público. Cada político que bem explicava algo de artículo, bo porque artículo que ele acaba explicava de Google e bo telefone, le sepa bo mes, anto bem que bo mes in depressão de lo que acaba de compreender. Anto a boa opinião também válido que dizer, posso passar discutir o. Anto me devisa nang en bigons me devisa na se Martin Street. Lezen conosco, ora nós superior de nossa Constitution, nossa grondwet, Google, nossa staatsregeling, lezen conosco, wakpa, bomes que currículo que devisa, anto mais tanto pueblo sa, mais informar pueblo tá, mais milhão e decisão que o pueblo toma tá, anto se boquepa pueblo su nível de educação reflectar riba não kunang kis riba político na se não quer mesmo na ideia mesmo corrupção sigue but tinha começar no pueblo anto maneira de ver educação eigenlijk a prioridade número 1.
Absolutely. Couldn't touch that. Well, you are here until Friday. Is Friday the last?
That's the last day of ILCO,
And that will be what time? It's a morning meeting.
I think in the morning. I think we start off at 9, I believe, and by 1, 2 o'clock it's done. Because Friday is usually just the coupling, just rounding off everything that that was discussed.
Basically, it's today, tomorrow, and Thursday are going to be the real
heavy days.
discussions.
Yeah. And then you're leaving when?
I leave Sunday.
I'm back to Berne.
Oh, but yung vuelo later already.
No, eigenlijk mi vuelo tá denk de Mainta. No, casi merdia. Casi merdia, sí.
There's a final session.
Sí, no sin tempo. Sí, no se chega se acaba. Sí, no, a mim, sobre a minha bine aqui de época como observer. Am bine para observar oficialmente a mim também parlamentário, pero nós com nós comissão de Koninkrijksrelaties, Kingdom Relations na Sint Maarten no Sea Care Committee. é líder na facção só da parte de sequer. Dus,
Ja.
mané, nós começar com 5 dinâmicos, tem 5 partidos comigo, então agora nós em 10. Por exemplo, dus lo que nós acabamos de que treina bem independente, não é ver facção de banamês, pero oficialmente para parte for progress, MP Melissa Gomes é líder da facção, pero tur facção tem oportunidade para baixo com docente que observar, riba na mês costa não, dus não paga um mês etc. Esse opta para ser aqui, mas o meu é que tá bom para mim, aunque eu não tenho bem oficialmente toch, como me te corso, como me tem, que não como você sabe tanto papamento, tá bom para o bem, então network o collega não, então a com Leo, então natuurlijk mi background mi ma studia koninkrijksrecht também, den ora mas mi studio, então untuk yang bigams me dico é combinação na net, então MSB sai bem, dus me tem bem para kosten, então é discona também ando bom, aunque me tá oficialmente observação, me tá papi bom e outro collega na de outro Island também na welcome mesmo coisa dus me não tem sim diferença como não posso explicar a papi nada dus bij deze me tá encorajar outro parlamentário não que também lo por bij se por bini para sobre the more we know the more we network the more we communicate mas tanto nos papi untuk que Island anto para papa nos vai delante dus bij deze me tá encorajar outro parlamentário na passe mesmo coisa.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rajon, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having us.
you.
If we can get in touch after the meeting is over and get you, and if we don't catch you here, please request you to write your phone number. I'll catch you there.
Sí, no.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Okay?
Sure, yes.
Bedankt.
Turkosbal, and we'll keep in touch. You can call us anytime. Of course, you know Gino. And now you know me.
Zeker.
You can pick.
Yeah.
Señor Peterson y señor Gubb, sé que no se ve de 90.
Menina ADC, botava da saco, portasse água de piscina, off de poço, seca-nos. Sim, ADC de laboratório de água.
Água putinha, nos da teste. Água de poço, nos da teste. Água de piscina também nos da teste. Água de bebê, nos teste.
Nosso experto não te ajudava e deu um conselho para a água da